Welcome to the Lovestead.
Hello, welcome back to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica. My pronouns are she, her, and this is a reading vlog. I feel like when I said hello at the intro, I sounded like Jane from Lady Jane books. How she does her intros. Hello! Like I felt like I was having a Lady Jane moment there. Please excuse the lipstick. It's a hot mess. It's a brand that I don't think I'll ever buy again because yeah, exactly. It's clumpy and it soaks into like the little lines around your lips. I don't like it. It's like the hard candy something or another. But I had to wear purple lipstick today because we're having just a little purple moment with the book covers that we're working with here. I'm also currently reading The Diviners by Libba Bray, which is also a purple moment. So we had to go with the purple lipstick. It was a requirement. As you can see, the star of the show has arrived. Her name is Sherry. She's been really enjoying making appearances on the channel. How am I so blessed with such a sweet baby? Like, I thank my lucky stars every day for this cat, I swear. She's just the sweetest, silliest girl. So in this vlog, we're starting to document all of the various readathons I'm attempting to do. In my September TBR video, which also starred Cherry, that I'll link you to up here, whichever side it's on, I can't remember. So in that video, she and I shared how there's like 4 different readathons that I want to do in the month of September that all tend to fall in the same week. So what I'm doing instead is spreading them out across the whole month and just trying to finish them all within the month of September. So yesterday I did finish reading The Marvelers by Danielle Clayton. So I wanted to share with you what prompts that fulfills for the different readathons. And I'll have links to the readathons and the hosts for them and all of that stuff in the description box down below. For the Upside Down readathon, The Marvelers fulfills the prompt, a book with lights on the cover, because Ella here is holding her light. So like their magic system is basically their inner light that they marvel. It's hard to explain, but it counts for that particular prompt because there is her little inner light. For the Wayward Son-a-thon, this book actually completed 2 prompts. The first prompt was a character not from Earth. So in this book, there are characters called Starfolk that are not of Earth. Not totally sure what they are exactly, but they're not of Earth. So it completes that prompt, and that was for the box marked Castiel. So the Wayward Son-a-thon, let me backtrack for a second here. The Upside Down readathon is based on Stranger Things, the TV show, and then the Wayward Son-a-thon is based on the TV show Supernatural. So, for the book with lights on the cover, for the Upside Down, that's from when Joyce had all of the Christmas lights she was using to communicate with Will. And then for the prompt Castiel, the character from Supernatural, the prompt was a character not from Earth. That's for Wayward Son-a-thon. So it fulfills that one. The other prompt that this fulfills for the Wayward Son-a-thon is... No, never mind. That was a different book I had marked off. Okay, so it just fulfills that one. The next prompt that it fulfills is for the Middle Grade Magic readathon. And this one is a create your own story readathon. And the first thing you have to do is figure out your main character. You could pick a main character that's not like you or that shares something in common with you. So I did not like you because Ella and I are very different people. And so that counted for that. And I've got my main character figured out. It's a character not like me. And then the last readathon that this fulfilled a prompt for was the Footloose readathon, which is a readathon based on the movie Footloose. and it was the prompt for learns a new skill, because all of the kids in this book are going to this magical school called the Arcanum Institute, and so they are learning new skills about their own magical abilities. So that's what that counts. So that covered, let's see, of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 readathons I'm doing here in September, it covered a prompt in 1, 2, 3 of them. So not bad, not bad at all. If you watched my last vlog, I'll link it up here. You can know more thoughts on what I actually thought of this book. So I'm going to not talk about it in this vlog so I avoid being repetitive. But that's what those prompts, that's what the book, that's... So we will move on. This is the first book that I read in the month of September. This isn't going to be a vlog covering the entire month. I'll probably break it up into a couple different parts. So this will be like part 1 of this September challenge. I don't know. What do we want to call it? September challenge? September Readathon Olympics? I don't know. I don't know. Tell me what you think. What should we call all of the happenings in the September? The September in September. The book that I am currently reading is All the Feels by Olivia Dade, and this is a contemporary romance. It's the sequel to the first book in this series called Spoiler Alert. I read Spoiler Alert, I don't remember when, but I read it and I liked it. And this one, so far I am, how many pages? 70 pages in, and I like this one even better than the first one. So it is about Lauren and Alex. Alex is an actor, and Alex is an actor, and he's getting into trouble. Like, he got into a bar fight, and he's just causing a lot of bad PR for the show that he's on. And so his producer has assigned him a minder, which is like basically a babysitter, and it's Lauren. And so Lauren is this guy's cousin, not his cousin, but the producer's cousin. So he's like, I'll stick my dorky cousin on you, basically. And so her job is to be with Alex at all times of the day. Like, aside from when he's like having a private conversation with someone or like in the bathroom, she has to be with him all the time to make sure he's not getting into trouble and causing more bad PR for his career. And Alex has ADHD, and this is really good ADHD rep so far. Lauren is a counselor, and she has reached some pretty hardcore burnout. She's a counselor, like mental health counselor, and she works in the emergency room at a hospital, I think somewhere in California. And she's just burnt out. Like, she's hit major burnout. She worked really intense hours, and the job itself was really stressful. So she quit her job in the emergency department, and she's trying to figure out what her next steps are. Like, she doesn't know if she wants to find another job in an emergency department or if she wants to go into private practice with some of her colleagues. So that's where Lauren is at. And so far, it's interesting because she's kind of like introverted, and he, you know, having ADHD, he is someone who's kind of looking for a lot of stimulation. And so she'll be sitting and reading a book, and he's like, hey, Lauren, and then and just like tries to get her attention nonstop. And she's just not having any of it. She's trying to keep things very like professional and being like, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm just here to make sure that you stay out of trouble. But she's also saying that she'd like to advocate for Alex as well, because she doesn't like what the producer is doing to him. She thinks it's kind of unfair and ridiculous, and that she doesn't like her cousin at all. And so she's like, I want you to like contact your attorneys and your publicists and stuff, so that if something does happen, like, you've got someone here to advocate for you, and it's not just my stupid cousin coming down on you. There is a little bit of tension starting to brew between them. They are starting to kind of connect at an emotional level. Like, we're seeing Alex really open up to her, because I think Alex is just a really lonely person. And so while he finds the whole situation ridiculous, he also is enjoying having someone there to talk to and to spend time with, even though he won't really admit it, you know. But you can just tell, like, the way he's like trying to get her attention and trying to engage her in conversation, and the way he's opening up to her about his struggles and different things, that like he needs someone. Like, he needs someone in his life who's supportive and so far she has been supportive, if not a little bit distant. So that is what's happening so far in this story. They have finished filming, they've wrapped up on the set in Spain, and now they're back in Hollywood, and she is staying in his guest house. And yeah, that's where I'm at with this story. Oh my gosh, this snuggle. I don't know, can you see this snuggle that's happening right now? It's just the most precious thing, and I'm just loving every second of it. Hi, Mama. Hi. No. No. Hi. And my girl. Here's my. Are you two in love? Huh? Are you two in love, big boy? I think you are. I think you are. Look at you two. Just look at ya. Just look at ya. Hello, vlog. I just I just filmed my August wrap up, and I was worried it was going to be a really short video because I only read like 4 books, but I think I was able to ramble on long enough and like talk about some things in enough detail that it's not going to be like super short. So, iced coffee. Iced coffee. I am a little over, actually, a little over. I'm like 60% of the way through all the feels, and I am loving this book so much. It's making me so happy. I absolutely adore Alex. I adore Alex, and I identify with Lauren in more ways than I care to admit. Like that self-sacrificing stuff, I really got to work on that. But, okay, that probably makes no sense. Let me go into some detail. One of the issues that Lauren has in this book, iced coffee, where do I put you? One of the issues that Lauren has in this book is that she has like no regard for herself or her needs or her dignity, basically. She like doesn't care if people insult her. She doesn't care if people treat her like crap. She never gets mad about it. She's just like, yeah, that's how people treat me. And then she moves on. And it's driving Alex up the wall because he's like, you have to know you're worth more than this. You have to know that you don't deserve this. Like, why don't you get mad? Like, why don't you realize, like, you know, and I identify with that because I mean, I think that any woman who is fat identifies with that, because if you get mad about every little slight that comes your way, you're going to live your life mad. You know what I mean? If you get mad every single time someone looks at you like, ugh, or like makes a fat joke or comments on the food that you're eating or invites you out to work out because you need it or anything, like if we got mad every time that happened, we would live our lives mad. So like in a way, I feel like I get why Lauren's like, I can't get mad about this. This is just the way I get treated and I have to live my life and move on. Like, I get that, but I also think there are certain situations where she definitely needed to get mad and she definitely needed to not be as self-sacrificing. And like, that's the balance that we have to find, right? Is like, where do we draw the line between like, okay, this doesn't matter that much. I don't care about that person. They can say what they want. I'm moving on with my life, versus like, okay, you can't treat me like that. And I think one of the places that she needs to draw the line is with her cousin Ron. Like, he just treats her like absolute crap, and she's just like, whatever. And then all of her family is like, oh, you hurt Ron's feelings, you better, like, they'll push her to like make Ron happy, and like, she needs to take a stand about that. I absolutely think she does. But some of the other stuff in here, I kind of agree with her. Like, every time like a Hollywood beauty calls her ugly and fat, like, she can't get mad about that every time, because it's going to happen a lot, because that's the way life is, and that's how people treat fat women. Okay, end rant. But anyway, part of what's happening in here is Alex is just getting really mad that she doesn't get mad when people treat her this way, and he's having a hard time understanding why she doesn't stick up for herself more often. So now he feels like he has to stick up for her. And the problem with that is when he does it so explosively that it has a really negative impact on his publicity and on his career. And so, of course, then Lauren's like, oh no, it's my fault that you did XYZ and you shouldn't do that. You know, so then it just makes him doubly like, yes, I should. You deserve to be defended. Like, it's a really interesting dynamic. I love Alex. I identify with Alex in some ways where I'm like, do I have ADHD? Like, I know I'm neurodivergent in one way, but am I neurodivergent in this way too? Because dang. The way that he just, like, he has this undercurrent of energy, like, I definitely get that undercurrent of energy. Like, ooh, I get that. I get that. I get the sleep issues. I get the, like, needing to fill silence issues, the chattiness, the pinball brain. Like, they described a scene in here where he was like, his brain was like a pinball machine with rage or whatever. Like, my brain is a constant pinball machine. Like, it is constantly bouncing from idea to idea to idea. And so now I'm like, maybe I need to investigate that a little bit, because whoo, that is relatable. I think the ADHD rep in here is really good too. I don't think it's falling into stereotypes. And part of what helps is that Lauren is a therapist. And so she can kind of evaluate it from a therapist point of view. So that helps make the representation a bit more accurate and sensitive, I think. But yeah, what else can I say? I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying the relationship dynamic. It is kind of a slow build to them actually figuring out, oh, okay, I have feelings for you. I'm about 60% of the way through and they have finally figured it out. They've finally figured out, okay, this is more than just like a professional situation. And now they're on a road trip together. I predict steam. I predict it. I'm hoping for it anyway. I was on sprints the other night with Sarah and Amanda. Well, I wasn't on the sprint, but I was attending sprints with Sarah and Amanda. And someone in the sprint said that there's pegging in this. So I know that in some of the fanfic that Alex has written, there's like, he's written pegging in those fanfics. So I'm like curious, like, how else is pegging going to come up in this story? So that's interesting. I actually had to look up what pegging is because who had done a video about it? I'll leave the name of the channel up here that did a video about it, but they did like a compilation video of like pegging in books, and I was like, what the heck is pegging? I don't even know. So I had to look it up. And now that I know what it is, I feel like I see it everywhere. And of course, it's in the next romance that I read. Of course it is. But that's where we're at with all the feels. Was Friday the last time I checked in? I think it was Friday. I did do no, it was Saturday. I did some sprints Saturday on my Discord. I ended up doing them on my Discord. And then yesterday, Sunday, all I did was grade papers. And today it is Monday, it is Labor Day. And so I'm going to be working on BookTube. Got to edit some videos, got to upload some videos, got to get the metadata done on some videos. And then I might try to finish all the feels today. And then I'm going to the barn. And I also have to do some homework and a little bit of grading yet. So that's the plan for Monday. Happy Labor Day. Hi. So I'm getting pretty close to finishing all the feels. And I am waiting for the third act conflict because it has me a little scared. That it's going to be super painful. And I'm wondering if maybe she'll even skip the third act conflict. Do you like third act conflicts in romance books? So if you're a romance reader, tell me in the comments, like, if you enjoy the third act conflict that typically happens in a romance, or if you're good to read a book without it. Honestly, for me, I could go either way. It just depends on how well it's done. But the third act conflict, I feel it coming up, and I'm nervous. He is so cute. Look at him using his pillow. Oh my goodness. You are precious. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. He's got to sleep by the breakfast that he spilled everywhere. Okay, buddy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's so cute, it hurts a little. Hello. My dog's just coming in from a walk with Brandon, so you'll probably hear her sprinting up the stairs here in just a second. But I wanted to check in because I finished All the Feels by... There she is. I finished All the Feels by Olivia Dade. And sorry, I'm filming on my phone here, so everything is reversed. But I finished it. And that third act conflict that I was worried about didn't hurt as bad as I was expecting. And it actually really made sense with the characters and their development and like their history. So it was a conflict that made sense and they overcame it and there was a happily ever after. So, or I guess, would you call that a happy for now? I don't know the difference between a happy for now and a happily ever after, I guess. I'm not that experienced with romance just yet, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. When I put it through the compile system, it turned out to have a 4-star rating, which honestly was higher than I was expecting it to be. But I mean, I feel like my compile system is as objective as I can be as well. So do with that what you will. Will you like this book? If you like a steamy contemporary romance that has fat rep and ADHD rep, you might like it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I probably will reread it, actually. I could see this becoming a comfort book of mine. So, I mean, maybe 4 stars is accurate. Have you read this one? Let me know what you think down below. The book that I'm picking up next is, again, filming on my phone, so it's reversed. Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. As far as I know, this is a young adult thriller, and I don't really know what it's about. All I know is that Marisha Pessl is one of my favorite writers of all time. I've loved everything else I've read by her. Everything else I've read by her has been a 5-star read, and her book Night Film, is actually one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm going to pick this one up next, and we will carry on. I almost forgot to mention what readathons All the Feels counts for, because I'm doing a lot of them this month. Okay, so for the Wayward Sunathon, which is the readathon based on Supernatural, All the Feels counts for the first prompt for Sammy, a book with mythology. Because in All the Fields, the actors from a show called like God of the Gates or something like that, which is based on Greek mythology. So they talk a lot about mythology. So yeah, they talk a lot about mythology in that book. And then it also completed the prompt for disability rep because Alex has ADHD. So it counted for those 2 in the Wayward Sunathon. And then for the Footloose readathon, I'm counting it for unapproved love because a lot of people in Alex's life like disapproved of their relationship. So I think that's all that book counted for. But 3 prompts for all the readathons. So 2 prompts for Wayward Sunathon and 1 prompt for the Footloose readathon. Not bad. Happy Saturday. I was not able to get my grading done last night. About 1:30 p.m. I ended up having a pain storm, as I call them, where just my chronic pain kicks in. So 1:30 a.m. I took a shower and went to bed, and I didn't finish my grades. So it's Saturday evening and I'm working on them tonight. Today I actually went and did a little bit of shopping because you're all aware Queen Elizabeth died, and I am personally a big fan of Queen Elizabeth, and like, if you're not, that's fine. I think that people have legitimate reasons for not liking the royal family, and I think, you know, the monarchy's caused a lot of trauma in the world, definitely has. I have my own personal reasons for liking Elizabeth. Trying to say is, you know, I acknowledge that it's problematic for a lot of people and causes a lot of hurt for a lot of people to support the royal family. But just as your reasons for maybe celebrating her death are deeply personal, so are my reasons for loving her. And I don't love all the royals. I love Elizabeth. And my reasons are very personal. So much so that I probably won't even talk about them on the internet. I did a little shopping because I wanted to get some things to commemorate her death. Several months ago, I had ordered some art pieces of Elizabeth, and I needed to get frames for them. So I went to Michael's and picked up frames, and then I picked up something else for the cabinet of curiosities that I'm putting together back in this wall behind me. I need to actually start getting it put up, but because I'm gathering some really cool things for it. I got shelves, I've got all of my curiosities, and I got a really neat sign at Michael's. And then I went to Barnes & Noble, got some Starbucks, a PSL, and I got some magazines, because whenever there is like a major world event, something that I like to do is to collect like a Time magazine or something of that nature that documents that historical event. And I've been doing this since I was a child. Like, I have a Time magazine from September 12th, 2001, right after, you know, September 11th, things like that. And I might show you some of my collection of these things at some point, maybe even in this video if I'm feeling up to it. But I wanted to get some sort of commemorative magazine for Elizabeth. Now the problem was they didn't have any of the, like, the newest issues printed yet and on the shelves yet, but there was like a special edition celebrating her Jubilee. So I got that, and here, let me just show you what I got. For my art prints, I got 3 different ones of Queen Elizabeth. I got a larger one and then 2 smaller ones, and this is the larger one. I'll link you to the artist in the description box down below. This is one of the smaller ones. And then this is the last one that I got. It's hard to see, but it's all of her outfits in a rainbow. So those were my art prints. Then I got this sign, Curiosities and Oddities, a collection of strange things. And then down at the bottom, it says Visionary Extraordinaire. This is going to be perfect for this wall. So it's going to replace one of these thingies. It'll be perfect for this wall where I'm putting together my cabinet of curiosities for that redo of my office. And in addition, so Saturday I did that shopping. Today I did that shopping. And then I've been doing some housework and stuff since I got home. And while I'm doing housework, I started listening to an audiobook. So the audiobook I picked up is Insomnia by Sarah Penborough, and it is a thriller, an adult thriller. And it's about this woman who's going to be turning 40, and her mom, when her mom turned 40, she had a psychotic break. And so now this woman, I think her name's Emma, Emma's about to turn 40, and she's afraid to turn 40 because she's worried that she will follow in her mother's footsteps and have a psychotic break herself. And I'm only like 5 chapters in. Like on my Libby account, it says like 36 minutes in, which isn't very far. It's a 10-hour book. So I started that. I am enjoying it so far. I really like the narration and I like the writing. I'm excited to see where that goes. And then after I finish my grades for the night, I need to do some water changes on my fish tanks. So I'm going to read while I'm doing those water changes. But another book that I'm picking up is What Woman That Was, Poems for Mary Dyer by Anne Miles. So Dr. Anne Miles was one of my thesis advisors when I was in graduate school, and she actually left academia to pursue a career as a poet. And this is her first full work of poetry that has been published. She was an early Americanist in her academic days, so she focused on literature of early America, and Mary Dyer was like her specialty area. She's like I would say she's a world-renowned expert on Mary Dyer, who is someone who played an important role in early American history. We don't hear much about her because she's a woman, but Anne is really an expert on her. And Anne and I remained friends after I graduated, and when I had my photography business, I did some headshots for her. And so on the back here, that's a photo that I took that she used for her bio, and she did credit me for it on the title page. So I'm going to start reading this and getting through her first work of poetry that I'm so tickled for her, so very tickled for her. I generally don't rate books that are written by my friends because there is an inherent bias in that. I'm going to love everything a friend of mine writes, so I don't rate them. But I'll read this and let you know what it's about for those of you who maybe like poetry. So that's where we're at with reading and my life. Hello, vlog. I finished Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl, and it was honestly disappointing. This was a 5-star prediction for me, and it is a 3-star read. I think that I prefer Marisha Pessl's adult writing to her young adult writing very, very much so. Like, her adult writing eclipses what she did in this. This was just, I mean, it was a YA thriller, and I know that what she was trying to do was adjust the language and the concepts to be more audience appropriate. But I think that she went too far in that direction to where it lost the things that make Marisha Pessl's writing great. You know? I'd like to see it be a little bit more balanced in terms of the complexity, because this was just, it was very simplified and not very well fleshed out, to be honest. So like this Groundhog Day situation that they're in, like she tries to get into some of the physics of it, you know, some of how this works and why it works, but she just doesn't take it as far as she needs to take it for it to be really compelling. She also, I feel like, was holding back on some of the character development, where these characters have been through traumas, and like big time traumas. Like when you finally find out at the end like what it is that they've all gone through, it's a lot. They're very broken, haunted people, but that isn't entirely fleshed out through the entirety of the book, and not in the way that I know Marisha Pessl is capable of doing. But I do think it's because she was holding back to make it audience appropriate. Like she didn't want it to be too much for a teenager. And I think that is my biggest, I guess, complaint. Like I keep trying to put it into context of a young adult reader, and like if I was a teenager, would this have been enough for me? And I think it would have been a fun ride as a teen, but I wouldn't remember it. You know what I mean? It'd be forgettable. So yeah, kind of a disappointing jaunt. Very, very different from her adult novels. And I much prefer her adult novels to what she did in this one. 3 stars. I almost forgot to talk about which readathon prompts Neverworld Wake covered. So let's go through that here real quick. For the Upside Down readathon, which is a readathon based on Stranger Things, Neverworld Wake completed the prompt, read a psychological thriller. For the Wayward Sunathon, which is a readathon based on Supernatural, Neverworld Wake completed the prompt, Ghost Facers or Friend Group. It also completed the prompt, Dean or a character who has been through hell. Because all of those characters went through hell in their living, like their actual life, and now that they were in this like limbo state, that is essentially going through hell too. So covered those prompts. I also finished What Woman That Was by Anne Miles. Again, you know, this is a friend of mine, and so I cannot give this a rating. I don't rate books that are written by my friends because they're always going to be 5 stars, because I so badly want my friends to succeed and I want to support them. But what I can tell you about this is I think that if you are really interested in early American like literature and history, you might really like these poems. They're very niche, like they're very niche poems. They have a really specific topic that they're covering, really specific like time period that they're covering. And in order to really appreciate them, you've got to have that background knowledge, which thankfully I do because I took her courses, right? So I understand the context of this poetry, and that is really, really necessary if you're going to go into this hoping to enjoy it, because I think that if you don't have that context, you're not going to catch everything. You know what I mean? You're not going to catch those little nuances that poetry has. So my favorite poems in here were probably The Temptation. I really liked that poem. But my absolute favorite poem is Metropolitan. And I love this one because I see so much of Anne in it. And that's really it. So yeah, of course it's going to be a 5-star collection, because I love my friend and I want her to succeed. So I think I'm going to wrap up the vlog here. It's getting pretty long. And I have read a good chunk of books. So I think we started out reading All the Feels, which was a 4-star. We did Neverworld Wake, which was 3 stars. And then What Woman That Was, which was, of course, 5 stars. And I am not finished with Insomnia by Sarah Pembroke yet, which is what I'm listening to on audio. So that'll have to be in the next vlog. All right. I hope that you've enjoyed this little romp with me. If you want to leave me a comment down below to just let me know that you're here, go ahead and leave me a crown emoji. And until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other.